So for anybody who got enemies who look like they're not prospering, or you feel like the other team is winning up against you, I need you to sit down and take notes. Because what God has in store for them, you couldn't have even imagined it. Come with me to Esther chapter 3 and let's start from there. Two main characters we focusing in right now. We have Mordecai, Esther's uncle, and then we have Haman. He's basically the hater. Now, he put out some law that made it that every time he came into a public place or whatever, people had to bow down to him. But Mordecai was a Jew, and his thoughts was, I only bow down to God, so I don't know who you are, but I'm not doing it. And of course, Haman wasn't having this. So chapter 3, we read, when Haman saw that Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor, he was enraged. Yet having learned who Mordecai's people were, he scorned the idea of killing only Mordecai. Instead, Haman looked for a way to destroy all Mordecai's people, the Jews throughout the whole kingdom of Xerxes. He goes to the king and makes him some whole story how the Jews aren't really disrespecting him. They're actually disrespecting the king. And the king's like, what? Do whatever you want with them. So now Haman sends out letters to all the provinces, anywhere where there's Jews, where they're about to get killed off. Mordecai finds out, all these Jews find out, and he is just like sad and depressed. He rips off his clothes, he goes into mourning, he starts fasting, he won't eat. And Esther also finds out, like, he's walking around looking like this. So she's like, and he lets her know, hey, they're trying to annihilate us out here as Jews. And at first she's like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, nobody knows I'm a Jew here. And Mordecai basically had to check her. He's like, boo-boo, don't think just because you up in the palace that God is going to save us and you if you're about to be quiet during this moment. Now Esther's on board. She's like, you know what? You're right. Let me do what I need to do. Time goes on and Haman sees Mordecai out in the streets and he's disheveled and raggedy. Mordecai still won't bow down to him. Even at the threat of his life and the life of his people, he refuses to bow down to somebody that is not God. You think Haman would be okay? Nope. His wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, have a pole set up reaching to a height of 50 cubits and ask the king in the morning to have Mordecai impaled on it. Then go with the king to the banquet and enjoy yourself. This suggestion delighted Haman and he had the pole set up. So in his mind, he's good. Like, you know what? You're right. They're about to be killed anyway. The king and I are like this. So I'm going to get him killed. Before I even take out the rest of his people, I want to make sure that I see him messed up. Now, this is a word for those of you who feel like your enemy is way too close, has way too much leverage, has way too much influence. You are a child of God. If you are walking in the path that God has for you, you're following his laws, you're following the lifestyle that he has for you, do you think it matters what influence is against you? Because there's nothing trumping the influence of God. Now, Queen Esther gives this banquet because she's about to woo the king into helping her people instead of carrying out this decree against all the Jews to be annihilated. It says, if I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. That is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request, for I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. The king asked her, who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such a thing? Esther said, an adversary and an enemy, this vile Haman. Haman gets upset. My man is pet. So now king walks out and Haman stays behind with Queen Esther and he's begging for his life. I don't know if my man trips or God just blew a wind so he landed on top of the queen. But the king comes back just in that moment. He exclaimed, will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house? As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Then Habona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, said, a pole reaching a height of 50 cubits stands by Haman's house. He had it set up for Mordecai, who spoke up to help the king. The king said, impale him on it. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai. So that plan to take you out that the enemy swears is about to like really get you downcast, sad, and you over here worrying about it, it's not for you. It's actually for them. Because God just walked me through the same exact thing. Do not let the enemy punk you. If God is telling you to move from one place to the next, move. If he's telling you to stay there, regardless of what it looks like, stay there. So that way you can watch as he prepares a table in front of your enemies and anoint your head with oil to the fact that your cup is overflowing. And that overflow is with blessing. That overflow with favor. That overflow with protection. that overflow with promotion. If God tells you to stay, stay. And let your enemy watch as what they thought was going to take you out actually takes them out. Now, this was a very quick synopsis of this story. Do your own due diligence and get into the book of Esther. That way you can encourage yourself when the enemy tries to punk you. I'll see you next time. Bye.